All right, good morning. Good morning. I am hoping that there is not too much of a delay this morning, but I will be getting started in just a few seconds. I just want to test and make sure that my lives are working good or working well. So, give me a few minutes and we'll be getting started shortly. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, hello. All right. I am just I'm testing out a new streaming software. So please bear with me. And I'm also catching myself on my television as a second screen. But good morning. If you are not familiar with who I am, my name is Keisha. I am the co-founder of Madam Green Grow. Just trying to make sure that I hear myself talking. This is our live series. We generally haven't gone live on any of the social platforms because of technical difficulties, but I'm really excited. Let me take out a mic, an ear like singers because I can hear myself on the playback. But we're really excited to present our information and content in this live series over the next couple of weeks. So you can join us here, and I am just so excited. I'm going to move this one here. There we go. We're just really, really excited to be able to present this information to you, talk a little bit about the Women of Color in Cannabis movement that we've started a couple of years ago, along with many other community-based organizations, and just some of the trials and tribulations of starting a business online. So just to give you a little bit of a precursor of who we are, I'm going to go ahead and play our pitch video that we submitted to the Startup NASA's virtual pitch competition last week. Yeah, last week. Unfortunately, we did not receive the prize money or win that competition, but it did keep us very much invigorated to really get out there and talk about the mission and pitch for these dollars because, as the video will say, traditional funding is pretty much non-existent for cannabis and typically CBD based ventures. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that. With support for legalization gaining steam, it was disheartening to hear that only 4% of businesses in the cannabis industry were owned by minorities and women of color. We plan to change that. Hi, I'm Jamia Hunter. And I'm Keisha Reed. And we're Madam Green Girl. It's 26-member community organization dedicated to the education, promotion, and celebration of women of color in the cannabis industry. Each month, we shift the culture by centering the cannabis conversation around various topics like business and our community. We found that the need for education and resources for gaining access to this industry was the next step, and we are looking to impact and change the lives of women of color who just need the keys to jumpstart their journey. By expanding our education platform with live and virtual trainings centered around ownership and growth, $1,000 will be the catalyst and infrastructure we need to reach that goal. Thank you for this opportunity. Awesome. Thank you for Boom. So, uh, yeah, I hope that came in very clear. If you are new to that video, you can check out that actual pitch video on our channel. So, let's just dive into this to today's topic. So, we're talking about networking in the cannabis age. So, my background, a little bit about my background is that I transitioned or pivoted from the tech industry where I went to tons of conferences, tons of festivals where they wine and dined you, where you learned all about, your different sector. I was in consumer electronics, so a lot of the things that I was wine and dine with were products. But naturally, I'm an extrovert, but these tips I think are relatable to whether or not you're an introvert, an extrovert. I think amnivert is a term to, don't hold me to it. But three things that you should really consider when it comes to networking is one, you want to talk and you really want to get a focus on what your intention will be for going to this conference or festival, right? Conferences and festivals are a little bit of a different beast when it comes to how you navigate that networking scene, whereas sometimes festivals can be seen as a little bit more of a let your hair down type of time. Whereas conferences, people usually thinking, these are the connections I'm going to make. These are the people I'm going to talk to. And generally, you don't think about how you'll interact with people at festivals. So I would I thought about this after speaking to one of our upcoming participants in the A Day in a Life campaign that we have coming up. And we were talking about, she gets an opportunity to go to all of these different conferences, and she'll be talking about that experience hopefully later on in the season. But I really wanted to bring out some of those networking skills, some of those tools that I've learned to really navigate some of the treacherous waters in the cannabis industry. So, if you did not read the blog post, it is up on Madam Green Grow right now. But the three tips basically were to be yourself, be visible, and understand that you're building a community. So every move that you make, you have an opportunity to practice your passion. You have an opportunity to build upon your network. So think of it in those terms. Understanding what your intent is going to be and matching that to the end goal is ultimately how to network like a beast out here in the cannabis age, right? So when I think about the different types of conferences and festivals, there are some coming up. We've recently went up to Boston over the last couple of years to go to the Boston Freedom Rally, one of the biggest East Coast celebrations for cannabis legalization. Now that Massachusetts is legal, it's become more of a celebration every time. On the West Coast, they have all of the different hemp rallies and festivals that we cannot wait to go to. I think cannabis cups and competitions are a little bit different when it comes to how you communicate and navigate those worlds. It's a very niche industry, and it's a very familiar industry. So I think networking there is a little bit different. And since we aren't in the growing or the competition side of cannabis, it's not something that I'm familiar with or my co-founder is familiar with. But if you're interested in learning about networking on the competition side, let us know. We have, a great directory of women who are in different sectors of the cannabis industry. So we can definitely bring those women on and they can talk about their experiences with competition. So before I forget that, I'm just going to write that down on my little notepad here right off camera. I typically have these digital downloads in the morning, and I want to make sure that I connect with you all when I do that. So, back to networking. I'm looking at my notes over here. So, we talked about the different types of festivals, conferences. So, conferences, MJ Biz has an entire series on ways that you can connect. The MJ Biz next conference happens in Louisiana. They have a different industry type of conferences. And then, when you think about your associations like the National Cannabis Industry Association, the Minority Cannabis Business Association, everyone, of course, has their different summits and ways that you can connect in-house with networks. So that's another way that I think that you really can connect with others is by joining different associations, joining networks that already allow their members to connect with each other. Because at the end of the day, cannabis is a very small community. Most people know each other, and especially with women of color, we all know each other, or we are all familiar with each other. So I think it's interesting to take a look at how you connect with others at different stages of conferences and connections. So we talked about different types of conferences. We talked about different types of festivals. We talked about just networking in general, practicing your pitch, practicing your passion. Those are great ways to be able to connect. I'm going to take a look at my time because I have a set time that I would like these lives to be between 15 to 30 minutes. Just a quick morning chat. I am drinking my coffee of the morning. Typically, I drink tea, but I need a little bit more of a jolt this morning. I've got some projects that I'm working on, some people that I'm interviewing, and I want to make sure that I am as alert as I can be. So, uh, just to wrap up, connecting via social media is also a great way to make sure that you're putting those feelers out, you're networking, you if you're especially if you're connecting solo, you connect with someone online, you have a lunch buddy. You have someone to sit next to in the park when your favorite band comes on the stage, and you don't necessarily have to feel alone. Sometimes, the cannabis culture can make it seem like you have to be alone, but I it's just me. I love being around people, whether or not I am using cannabis or not. So, what's next for us? Oh, I am glad you asked. So, if you've gotten to this part of the video or you're watching the replay, good luck. I would love to tell you that we've got some great things coming up. I'm looking down at my coffee. We've got some great things coming up. So, in 2 weeks, we'll be hosting a free webinar about building your C business. So, C standing for CBD or cannabis business on the go. And I'm really excited that we're presenting this information. It is free, so tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your cousins, let them know if they're interested in building a cannabis or CBD based business from their mobile phone this year to check out this webinar, or at least sign up for it just in case you can't make it live. We will definitely send that replay out to you. That information will drop in our newsletter. So, our newsletter in our garden club. So, if you are a part of our newsletter tribe or a part of our garden club, our Facebook community online, feel free to join now. We'll drop all the information on social media in the next couple of days just to give our VIP members, our loyal family, the people who have been rocking with us. We send this information weekly. We're going to give them the opportunity to receive this information first. So, there are benefits. Go ahead and join. Sign up for our newsletter on our website. And if you hit us on Instagram, I'll be sure to send you over a link to sign up as well. Our masterclass is back. I'm going to go ahead and cut. I hope this video is coming up really well because I'm looking at the stream health and it's like red. So this is one of the reasons we had technical issues last week because I had been playing with this new software and I couldn't quite get it right. So I'm hoping that I'm going to watch the replay after this to check and see if there are some stream settings that I can set. But masterclass, boom, boom, boom. We are excited to launch the second iteration of the masterclass, the Roadmap Masterclass, where we talk to you about setting up your cannabis-based business. So the webinar will give you a little bit of a touch as to what we'll be working on, but the masterclass, this is the 2.0. We have brought it down from 3 days to 2 days, and we're talking more mindset, we're talking tools, we're talking foundational skills, we're talking about how to really get out here, because there's a lot of people letting you know that cannabis is the industry that you want to be in, but if you don't know where to start, we've got the keys for you. So, more information about the roadmap, of course, in our newsletter and social media and it'll be on social media in the next couple of days. I'm doing way too much, y'all. Hold on, I'm coming back. And boom. All right. So, last but certainly not least, I'm wondering why my face isn't showing over here. Oh, there we go. Gotta remember I'm on a delay, y'all. Gotta also remember I'm doing on a delay. Work with me, work with me. So, as we wrap up, I'd love for you all to leave a comment, love for you all to join the conversation on social media and let us know how you feel about networking in the cannabis industry. Whew, this has been a great live. I'm so excited that it has happened, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Next week, we will be talking about, let's pull that up. Um, See, I should have had that ready. I was moving too fast, too fast. So next week, actually, my phone will tell me what we are doing next week. Next week, it's May. So, next week, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? Next week is mental health and running a business. So, we will be soliciting our questions, soliciting advice, we'll be soliciting tips for running a business in the digital age while dealing with mental health. So, everyone has some level of mental health that they're working with. But we were really, really excited to get some things going. So, next week, talking about mental health, running a business. I'm going to finish my coffee. I hope you all have a great Saturday. So excited this is done. Shouts out to my co founder and I's vision boards behind me because we manifest things. So, I will see you all next week.